Howdy gaming people, Toby from Pixel Pop Network here with Siegecraft Commander from Blowfish Studios, Australian-based company. Always got time for Australian indie gamers, game developers. Great to see that we can make some fantastic games here at home in Australia. So from the main menu here, we've got Campaign, Multiplayer, and Commander, which I believe allows you to sort of tweak your multiplayer commander. So you can see 2 out of 3 here. We've got a strong emphasis on multiplayer, and I do think that's where the game is really going to shine. I did play this game at PAX Australia with the developers, and I did get a chance to play multiplayer with them, and it was quite frantic in a good way. For anybody that's played Worms, you know, in a hot seat environment, it had that sort of vibe. There was a lot of laughter. There was a lot of, taunting, and yeah, it was just a lot of fun. And I think that's really where Siegecraft Commander is going to shine. The campaign, which is what I'm going to show you briefly today. And it has 2 story arcs. So we have the Voyage for Glory, which is predominantly sort of humans there, and Crusade of Hope, which is the more mysterious lizard folk. I feel this is more of a... It's great, and there's obviously quite a few missions to be had. I obviously haven't worked through them all here. They have reset the game a few times prior to release. I had got a bit further. Speaking of which, the chaps have been, and lasses have been, patching this game all week, polishing it up before release, which is great. I had a few little sort of niggles earlier in the week, a few complaints, nothing serious, mind you, and they've all been polished out, and the game's playing really well now, which I'm glad. So story is presented in a fairy tale book format, and we start with our keep, and we're going to simply click on that. We want to place an outpost, which allows us to sort of extend our wall and place more units. And we just have a sliding bar here for the strength of the shot. So it is quite an arcade feel. And I'm going to want to try and capture this yellow stone over here. Now to do that, I'm going to fire some TNT. He's going to fire at me. He has a ballista, which is anti-air, which you can see it took out my TNT barrel. Just going to lay waste, and I've missed, and he is not going to miss. Right, so your walls and your towers are a chain, and if an earlier point of that chain is taken out, it will also destroy everything else that follows it in that chain. So if they can get behind your front line, they can do an enormous amount of damage. Right, that's mine. And we'll just pop a tower over there. And now I've captured it. And that is the game's really only resource system, is these. And you can see in the corner there who controls what. And my opponent has one of each. I have a yellow. And that allows the construction of certain special buildings. So it's worth your time, typically, to get a hold of those resources. So now I'm just going to move my outposts up through the middle of the map. Already you can see we have some insidious lizard folk on their way, and now we have an evil cow, thanks to the totem. Yep. Goodbye, outpost. Lethal cow. And dare I say it again, that's a very much a Worms feel there. Alright, so don't know if I've got range on this chap yet. Hopefully I'm good enough to... Oh, in the water. I think we do have range though. Great. Right, so we need... No, we don't want an outpost. I want a garrison. Pop one of those down there. And that's going to then allow me to create barracks. And yeah, so the single player campaign I think is really going to be about getting used to this slider and getting a feel for the different buildings that the game offers. There are quite a few of them. Oh, what a shot. Value for money. The game also includes a virtual reality version using the HTC Vive, which I am going to play some of after this. So I'll have another video. And I think in terms of, well, at least when I did play it at PAX, in terms of single player content, if you've got a Vive, I found the game to be more, what's the word here? Not necessarily enjoyable, but it was a more involving experience, because you stand, and if I can move out here, you can see we're actually playing on a large table as if it was a war game. And in virtual reality, you are quite literally standing at the edge of this table, and everything is a lot smaller, but you can then move and zoom in right down to a ground level. So I can actually stand next to this chap here and watch him engage in swordplay with the lizard folk. Yeah, so it's an entirely different experience, and being that the Vive is a little starved for quality content at the moment. Just having that extra mode in something like this, which is obviously reasonably, quite polished, is just nice. It's nice to have, and so if you are a Vive owner, it's I think that's a wonderful addition. So the idea here, of course, is now this is completely automated. The barracks is just going to keep spewing at guys, and then they're going to head out to the nearest fight. There is air units. There is anti-air, so there will be like the ballista we saw before. Yeah, so if I took out that war camp, it would knock out both the outposts and these structures here. And the idea is ultimately is just to take out your opponent's keep. So there's, yes, they're not going to let us through. There's no resources other than those controlling those gems, so you can just spam away, and often I will. One good strategy here is when you've got troops trying to move into an area that are coming under attack from the AI's outposts, I will just roll in with a dozen of my own outposts, which draws the attention from the ground units because they fire away at my outposts, and that allows my units to just then get in and clean up. So yeah, you can make outposts. I'll give you an example here. We'll throw them away. You can't destroy buildings. You can destroy your own buildings with TNT, but there's no option, as far as I'm aware at this stage, to just click on a menu and have a building destroyed, which can be, I would like to see that feature added, because often I will accidentally overshoot or undershoot. And there you go, that was just an example. You can see where he's taken out an earlier part of the chain and later turret. But again, there's nothing stopping me from just vomiting outposts here, other than this is a viable strategy, I feel. So yeah, for RTS Puritans, those of you that play an enormous amount of, say, StarCraft or Heroes of Might and Magic, or dare I say, even say something like Civ. This might not be your cup of tea because there is such a heavy emphasis on reflexes and that sort of arcade play, like lining up your shots. You've got to get them right. I think the game, and I hope the developers agree with me, I think the game leans much heavier towards people who enjoy games like Worms. actually, for me, it brings back memories of an Amiga 500 game called Firepower, where you had 2 tanks. The game was pretty ordinary in single player. Not that I'm implying this is, but it was absolutely brilliant in co-op or multiplayer with a friend versus. And again, I think that's really where this game is going to shine. I had a hell of a lot of fun playing it against the developers in Melbourne late last year at PAX, and I think this is where Siegecraft Commander is really going to do well. So if you are the sort of gamer that often has friends over, or you have brothers, sisters, a partner, whatever, who enjoys gaming with you, I think this is the sort of game that you're going to have a lot of fun with. And especially if you have a Vive as well, and I'm about to get destroyed here, then you're going to get a lot of value out of this game. So I'm going to go pop on the helmet now, and I'm going to play a little Siegecraft Commander in VR. Thank you for watching.